This is the YOB ConvoCast, one-on-one conversations with your other brother's authors, community members, supporters, and friends.
What's up, friends, and welcome back to the YOB ConvoCast conversations with beloved friends and supporters and sometimes family members of this community. My name's Tom. We're navigating faith, homosexuality, and masculinity together, and also the Super Bowl. We navigate the Super Bowl every year. It's a big part of the vernacular. It's part of the zeitgeist. It's part of the American culture, certainly, and I guess international culture, too. I don't know. I don't have too much of a vantage point for the Super Bowl outside of America, but it's a game that millions upon millions of people watch for some reason. Not entirely sure why, but they do, and we're here to discuss it, break it down. This is like our mission to our community. We want to aid and empower the football illiterate amongst us, of which there are more than a few. And so for the last, I think, 3 years now, 3 years running, this is number 4, my own brother has come on this show to educate us in all the ways of the pig skin, as they call it. It's my brother, Andy. What's up, Andy?
This is your brother, Andy.
It is my brother, Andy.
Hello.
And you're wearing your Eagles shirt. We're going to talk all things.
Ready.
This is the second time you're here to talk about your Philadelphia Eagles, which is so exciting.
Correct.
We've got an Eagles-Chiefs matchup, which was the matchup 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Which
That's
you talked
right.
about. Yeah. So we're going to talk all about that today. But before we get to the big football stuff, how is my little Zoe? How's my little Zoe doing?
Growing. She's 34 weeks.
34 weeks.
Baked today.
Last time you were on the
She was
show,
still in the oven.
I forget how many weeks she was at, 20 or so?
Like 20,
16, 20, something like that. So, okay. So you are nearing the end of this. Well, not you. More so your wife, but
Home stretch.
the home stretch. Okay.
Which is why I am laying in a bed and not in the office, which is where I typically am. For my office is no longer an office. It is now a baby room.
It's a baby office. You could get like a little baby
will
desk.
be. Yes.
Baby
Oh my
rolling
goodness,
chair.
yes.
Baby calculator.
There you go.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Baby office.
Yeah.
So last time we talked, it sounded like you were like 80 to 90% sure of what the name would be. Are we still on that same, and it's not Zoe I mean, maybe it is, but that's my name for the baby. But is that still the name? Has it changed?
We have increased from 80% to 95%.
Whoa.
For both the first and middle name.
This is exciting. So on the one hand, you're becoming more sure of yourself, and yet you are still, even in this 34th hour, you are leaving room for another name to swoop in, is what you're basically saying.
What I'm basically saying is I'm as confident in the name of this child as I am a Chiefs defeat. Super Bowl Sunday.
That is some high praise. A little bit of a spoiler alert.
95%.
Whoa. You know, this is what I should have done this last time. I don't know if I did. I should have polled the community and be like, what should my brother name his daughter? And like get more suggestions, throw more suggestions. And then how amazing would that be? I mean, you guys can do that now because he's giving a 5% chance that it could be something else. Like, give us your suggestions.
I'm
Post
waiting.
Comments on Discord, on the blog episode page. Like, give him a name that's going to blow his freaking mind. First name,
my wife and
or middle
I
name.
were just waiting for someone to sweep us off their feet.
Yeah.
Our feet.
Yeah.
With a new name.
My suggestion was Zoe Zaragoza. So we'll see if any of that makes the cut. I'm on pins and needles waiting to see.
There you go.
ZZZ.
Never know.
All right, we'll see.
ZZZ.
Oh, I'm excited because this will be the last time you're on the show pre-fatherhood. So it'll be exciting to have you back when you become a father.
Happy to be on whenever you'll have me.
Yeah. You've got
Pre-fatherhood or post.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be hitting you up for some fatherly content. Shout out to all the dads all the dads out there listening. All right, well, let's get to the main event, my brother. Actually, before we get to the main event, which is Super Bowl, what number is it?
59.
59. That's right.
Go ahead and do the Roman numerals.
I'm calling it Super Bowl LIX because it's LIX.
Oh,
it's a little sensual.
That's one way of
Super
putting
Bowl
it.
LIX. Yeah, so that's the Roman numeral that we're at this year, LIX. Okay, before we get to LIX, I want to get to the matchup that we could have had that all of America was cheering for, from what I could tell. From what I can tell, all of America except for Kansas, Missouri, Eastern PA, Southern Jersey, and Delaware is not happy about this matchup. They all wanted a Washington-Buffalo matchup, which was who the Eagles and Chiefs played respectively in the championship games before this. So that is unfortunate. I wanted to look at a couple things first from the Buffalo Bills, not so much the Washington Commanders, although you can feel free to chime in any thoughts there. But I was getting really...
They're losers. That's all.
Okay. We don't have time to talk too much about Washington. They're losers, Andy said. Okay. They changed their name infamously a few years ago. They had a not so great name. But you mentioned Buffalo.
And now they have a worse one.
You mentioned Buffalo on the last episode because I think you were cheering for an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl when you made some predictions last time you were on the show. And you put the Bills on my radar a little bit. I mean, I've sort of noticed that they've been good for a few years now, but I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on them. And lo and behold, TikTok answers the call. TikTok gave me all sorts of Bills content as I was seeing them go through the playoffs. And I felt really sad for their quarterback, whose name is Josh Allen, because I saw one TikTok of him and I was so endeared to him where like his coach, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Like his coach was like giving this serious conversation in the locker room about, I don't even know what it was, about teamwork or doing something right. And then there was just like an awkward silence. And then Josh Allen just starts clapping with like a big smile on his face. Do you know what I'm talking about? This video?
No idea.
You have no idea?
No idea.
After
what you're
this,
talking about.
I'll post a link in this episode so you can either watch it when the episode comes out or you can Google it after this. But like, yeah, he was like, the coach was giving a pep talk and nobody was responding. And Josh Allen just like has this big goofy grin on his face and he just starts clapping wildly and everyone starts laughing. And all the comments on TikTok were like, he is giving such Andy Dwyer energy right now, because Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec is just kind of this lovable, goofy, kind of like a bigger guy, and he was giving that same energy. And then so I was endeared to him in that sense. This was like the game before they lost. And so then after the game he lost, which I guess you can give more context to this, but I guess he's lost to the Chiefs like 4 times in a row or something in the playoffs.
In the playoffs. This is my wonderful stat with Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen. I'm a big Josh Allen fan.
He's so cool.
He's great. Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season has never lost.
Oh,
He's
really?
4-0.
I didn't know that.
He's 4-0 against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes in the regular season.
But in the playoffs.
In the postseason, in the playoffs, he's yet to beat them.
0-4. Wow. That is a great stat. I didn't know that much. But like going back to TikTok, after that game, after he lost for the 4th time to Patrick Mahomes, they like camera zooms in on him. And before a reporter can ask a question, he's just like with big like puppy dog eyes is just like staring out into nothing and takes a big like trembling sigh because he's just like, here I am again. And they basically ask him like, how does it feel to lose again or something like that. And he was just basically like so sad. Like he just needs a big hug or something because this was the year. This was going to be the year that he finally broke through and then he didn't. So I just felt very sad for Josh Allen. I hope he makes it one day. Poor Bills.
One day, and he's going to have to go through the Chiefs, and everyone has to go through the Chiefs. And here we are again, 3 years in a row.
I called it. I was like, no, the Bills are not going to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs have proven that they are the best team until otherwise. They
are the new Patriots. This is the new empire that some young, scrappy group of rebels has to take down. So,
which you think will be the Eagles? but we'll see about that.
I know. I'm 95% sure will be the Eagles.
The only other Buffalo Bill I wanted to mention was a beautiful man named Mac Hollins. Do you know Mac Hollins? Are you aware?
Am I aware of 2017 Super Bowl champion for the Philadelphia Eagles, Mac Hollins?
Was he on the
Yes,
Eagles?
I am aware. He was.
No way.
Started off as an Eagle.
I had no idea.
And he had one miraculous catch during that Super Bowl run in like week 12. I remember it vividly. It was this beautiful like 70-yard bomb, and he caught it. I was like, all right, the rookie's catching on. And then that was the last like play that he had for the Eagles, like in his career. And then he left and went to Buffalo, and now he's had a really good year with Buffalo. And so I'm happy for the guy. He seems like he's caught on later in his career. But yeah, he was on the Super Bowl team for the Eagles.
You know, TikTok, good old TikTok. Thankfully, it's back from the grave, and it just knows, you know, my taste. It knows to give me what I want, which is somebody with amazing outfits. Like, they would show these I would see all these videos of him coming into the stadium, and he's like dressed up in all of these goofy, weird outfits. And there was one, dear listeners, dear yobbers, guard your eyes, because he like was not wearing a shirt. It was like a cold, like frigid day, and he was shirtless. He has like a 12-pack of abs basically, and then was just walking in slow motion into the stadium. And I was like, this is somebody I would talk about if he was in the Super Bowl, but alas, he is not. He's not in the Super Bowl.
He is not. He is not on the Chiefs.
So if you if you do a little search on Mac Hollins, I will not link this in the notes, but if you search Mac Hollins like costumes or outfits, pregame outfits. Well, they're like costumes. There you go. They were like Halloween-esque, like comedy. Surely you've seen these videos too.
Okay, so they're literally like he's dressing silly.
He's dressing silly. He's not like dressing in a suit.
Okay.
Like he was wearing.
Okay, I thought you said he was a well-dressed man. I was expecting not him to be silly.
Well dressed, as in like clearly goes into these games knowing that cameras are there, and he's gonna dress. He's gonna wear some things that are gonna make it onto some TikToks.
Catch the eye of viewers like you.
Viewers like me, yes. So anyway, I mentioned it last time. I have this thing for Buffalo where it's like, I'd have to check the stats on this. I feel like Buffalo is, if it's not the only one, it's one of the very few American sports cities that I have not been to. I've pretty much been to every single American sports city, like off the top of my head. San Jose, I have not been to San Jose. Any other team that has a professional sports team in America, I feel like I've been to that city, but I've never been to Buffalo. So I'm just very intrigued.
Have you been to East Rutherford?
I've not.
New Jersey?
I've not been to East.
Okay, well, that's where the New York Giants.
I was gonna say I've been
New York Jets.
I was like, I've been to New York. I have not been to East Rutherford. No, I have not. Or like wherever the Patriots play. I guess they don't play in Boston, so I haven't been wherever that is. Foxborough.
Yeah.
But anyway, Buffalo. If you're out there listening from Buffalo, we feel your pain. Maybe next year. Okay, Eagles Chiefs. So most of America did not want this matchup, but here we are. How do you feel about this matchup? It's a repeat of 2 years ago. We were having the same conversation, Eagles Chiefs 2 years ago.
Yes.
So tell me what you think.
Well, let's backtrack, Tom, to when I was on the podcast. What was that? 2 months ago? 2.5 months ago? What did I say? Do you remember what I said?
You said something about the Bills.
I said it's between
Eagles,
4 teams.
Lions and Chiefs.
And the Lions they fell apart.
Poor Lions.
Like literally they were full steam ahead and the wheels totally fell off.
Isn't that what happened to the Eagles last year?
Correct. But we emotionally fell apart. They literally fell apart like a lot
who
of
out
injuries.
there
We just forgot
who
how to
out
play
there
football.
listening has emotionally fallen apart. Can you raise your hand? Raise your hand if you resonate with that statement.
If so, you are this year's 2024 Detroit Lions. So I said it's between 4 teams: the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Lions. The Lions fell apart, and I said deep down what I would like is an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl, but much like Thanos, this is inevitable. It is going to be Eagles, Chiefs, and here we are. Who would have expected it except me?
and me. I mean, I definitely
about it.
felt pretty good about picking the Chiefs again. Wasn't sure if the Eagles would come through after last year's collapse, so they surprised me. Even though I don't,
Different team.
yeah, I know it's a different team. I don't keep up with football until week 16 or whatever one of the last weeks is. Here we go. We got like 20 minutes or so to talk this out and to devote some time to the halftime show and Taylor Swift. A lot of important things as well outside of the game within the game.
Famous Eagle fan, Taylor Swift, yes.
And thankfully, the Yobbers, I put a call
go.
out to the Yobbers to ask you some questions, and they heeded my call. So we got plenty of Yobber questions as well. So first, though, I want to give the floor to you. Yeah, what are some things to look out for? Andy's hot takes for Super Bowl LIX. Tell us the main things.
Things to look out for. Okay, here's going to be the main talking points that you're going to hear throughout the broadcast or at whatever Super Bowl party you might go to. The hottest topic that they're going to talk about is the Chiefs are seeking to become the first team in NFL history to win the Super Bowl 3 years in a row.
Whoa.
They haven't stopped talking about it since the Chiefs won last year.
So the Chiefs, for those that are unaware, the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. And like 3 out of how many? 4? 3 out of 5? Something like that?
They won a few years before
so they're
that.
on a streak. They're a dynasty. They're officially a dynasty. But they are looking to like be the dynasty of all dynasties, basically, if they win this game. Big stakes.
They are looking to make history. They are looking to do something that Tom Brady has never done, that Patriots never did, that the Packers never did in their heyday, or the Cowboys in their heyday, or the Niners in their heyday. Those are all the big franchises who have won the most number of Super Bowls. None of them ever won 3 in a row. And so the Chiefs are seeking to be the first team to do that. So that is going to be probably the biggest talking point for this game. On the other side of the ball, it is the Philadelphia Eagles. And the big talking point for them is their running game. Now, one of the really big, I guess, discussions, debates within, I guess, the NFL community over the last several years is the devaluation of the running back position. Now, let me explain what a running back does. So a running back, unlike a quarterback who throws the ball.
Does he run backward?
A running back, he runs with the ball.
Wait, he runs forward?
He runs forward, preferably.
Why is he called a running back?
Because it's a quarterback, it's a running back, it's a halfback, it's a fullback. I don't know. It's
Why
just
are
it's
the
a
backs
back.
in it?
I don't know. They put the team on their back. I don't know what it is. It's just the name.
Why don't they just call it the running?
The running, yeah. So the running man, he gets the football and he runs straight with the ball.
Anyway, why are they devalued? Because throwing is sexier?
It is definitely becoming a more prioritized passing league, and has been for many years. They've realized that's kind of what sells. The rules have kind of slowly but surely changed to protect the quarterback more than anything else.
It's kind of like baseball. Like, you want the big home run hitter. You don't want a guy that just hits singles and doubles all the time. Like, that's not sexy. Home runs, that's sexy.
And what a beautiful transition. So this year, the Eagles went out and they signed a man named Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley, everyone thought, okay, typically, and this is kind of the other part of the talking point, is more often than not, a team can find a running back in the draft, get him on a rookie salary, pay him real cheap, and then kind of dispose of him after a few years and just draft another guy. Saquon Barkley, his rookie contract gets up. The Giants organization never really valued him. The Eagles go out and they sign him in free agency. So they pay him to a big contract, but compared to the rest of the team, it's really kind of a low contract just based on how the position has become over the years. Saquon Barkley enters into Philadelphia. Philadelphia has a great offensive line. Those are the guys who are guarding the line of scrimmage, which is kind of where the football is snapped, protecting the quarterback and opening blocking lanes for the running back, just so he can kind of find a hole and make his way upward towards the end zone. And so it really felt like a great place for Saquon Barkley to go. And Saquon Barkley has brought energy to the running back position as a whole across the entire league, and especially with the Eagles. And Saquon Barkley, unlike so many teams who have a lot of home run hitters, most of them are wide receivers. Saquon Barkley is one of the very few home run hitters at a running back position. And so right now, another really big talking point for this game is at the end of the season, going into the final week, Saquon Barkley had an opportunity to break the all-time record for rushing yards. The Eagles kind of had their position locked up, so it didn't matter whether they won or lost. They were going to be locked in as the 2 seed. So he opted not to go for that record. Saquon Barkley now has an opportunity to break the all-time rushing record for regular season and postseason combined. So if he gets, I think he doesn't have far to go. I want to say it's like 50 yards or something like that. He can break that all-time record. So that's another record that is on the table.
So he's going to be the guy that runs the most in this game for both teams, you think? He'll probably run the most.
I think so.
So if you see an Eagles...
I feel confident about that.
An Eagles runner, man, that's Saquon Barkley, and he's very good.
Yes. Number 26.
And he went to Penn State, didn't he?
He did. Penn Stater.
Pennsylvania. True and true.
That's right.
Nice.
That's right. Let's see. Other talking points for this game include famous Eagles fan Taylor Swift.
Are we going to Taylor Swift right now?
Let's get into it. Yeah. So she's an Eagles fan, grew up an Eagles fan. There's a picture of her in an Eagles sweatshirt walking around. She has a song, Gold Rush, where she talks about her Eagles sweatshirt. She is dating Travis Kelce. She is a Travis Kelce fan.
Right. You mentioned this last year's Super Bowl because she made her first Super Bowl appearance last year. And now she's making a repeat Super Bowl appearance, we presume, this year. But you maintain that she is an Eagles fan based on this one song lyric and a sweatshirt.
Not this one song lyric. She grew up in the greater Philadelphia area. And that too, right. Her family, they're all Eagles fans. She started dating Travis so she could get close to Jason. That's my conspiracy
So you think
theory.
she's wearing an Eagles shirt underneath the Travis Kelce jersey or whatever she's wearing? Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, for sure.
So you think when the Eagles win, she's gonna be like consoling Travis Kelce, but she's gonna be cheering inside. Okay.
There's gonna be a little smile.
While we're on Taylor Swift, we have a Yobber submitted question, which I don't know if this is just an obvious answer or if you have another answer. What is your favorite Taylor Swift song? Is it this song that mentions her Eagle fandom apparently, or do you have an actual favorite Taylor Swift song?
I do, and I think it's actually your favorite Taylor Swift song.
Mine?
My favorite Taylor Swift song is Exile, featuring...
That is my favorite. How did you know that? How did you know that was my favorite?
Featuring, what's his name?
Bon Iver.
Bon Iver?
Yeah.
Bon Iver, as I call him.
How did you know that was my favorite song? Did we talk about that?
I feel like we've talked about it.
It is before. Exile.
Yes, that is my favorite.
It's so spooky and haunting and lovely. I just love that. I love that whole vibe of that song.
Yeah, great song. Great song. My second favorite Taylor Swift song...
Clearly, you have Taylor Swift at the ready. All right. Continue.
Yes. Same album, The One. Big fan of The One.
Yeah. That's a good song, too. That's a good album.
Very catchy. Very, very kind of, I dig it.
I'm a big anti-hero person as well. I enjoy
I like anti-hero. Yeah.
All right. So there's your little Taylor Swift tangent. Anything else from the game?
Let's see.
You sent me, you take this episode very seriously every year. You sent me a big long text the other night with 10 talking points, which you probably don't have time to go into every single one of those, but are there any others that jump out to you?
Yes. One other really big talking point right now, and this will be discussed, especially if you go to a Super Bowl party where people know their football. The referees will be brought up. I'll just say this. Referees, since the dawn of time, have been awful at their jobs.
It's a thankless job.
Can
they ever do it well? Is there any referee or an umpire or anybody that could do it well?
It's very rare. And it's only going to get more and more scrutiny. To me, this is my objective viewpoint. If you blame the referees for a loss, that's just a lazy way to view anything. And so I saw people online after the NFC Championship game, which was the game the Eagles won to get to the Super Bowl, where people were thanking the refs. The final score of that game was 55-23. If you lose by 30 points, it's not the referee's fault.
Right. Right.
Call me a skeptic. Call me the hot take man, right? And so a big talking point especially is towards the Chiefs. And part of that is people have Chiefs fatigue. When a team wins a lot, people just kind of get tired of seeing the same team over and over and over and over again, winning over.
Give the participation trophy to Philadelphia this year.
Right. I know. Participation or not, we're going to crush them. But here's the thing. So whether it's the Chiefs, during this dynasty, or the Patriots before that, or the Golden State Warriors in basketball for that long run that they did, or the Miami Heat before that, or, all the way back to the 90s with the Chicago Bulls, there's always going to be this level of fatigue where it's just people are tired of seeing the same team over and over and over again, continuing to win. And so right now people are, in some sense, just looking for anything to blame. The reality is, objectively as a football fan, they have the best quarterback in the league right now. They have the best head coach in the league right now. They have the best tight end in the league right now. They have one of the best general managers in the league right now. One of the best run organizations in the league right now.
One of the best pop stars in the world right now. I mean, throw that in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you have all of that kind of working in your favor, you tend to win a lot of games. Like that's what happens. Sometimes the refs make suspect calls. I don't necessarily think that it is determining games, but sometimes a call will influence how a drive ends or doesn't end, which might result in points and might not result in points. So that's going to be a big talking point in this game. And so with Kansas City seemingly getting a lot of favorable calls and Patrick Mahomes, I'll be honest, flopping from time to time and just kind of acting a little bit more as he goes to the ground, even if somebody didn't really hit him, and then a flag comes in late, and
conspiracy,
those sorts of things starts to happen. And so
wasn't there
a talking point?
Wasn't there a penalty in the last time that they had this Super Bowl matchup? You were complaining about a penalty that the Chiefs shouldn't have gotten and the Eagles would have won or something. So
correct.
That's interesting you bring that up, because one of the yobbers was like, do you believe there's a conspiracy theory that the NFL is subtly helping the Chiefs win so that they can continue to benefit, going back to Taylor Swift, from Swiftie viewership, Swiftie money, and maybe adding on to that, just like having this dynasty, having this team that you love to hate because people are going to keep watching, hoping that they lose?
I think I believe levels of that conspiracy, not to the level of it's all rigged. Like I hear those people talk every day I go to work, and I'm like, the league itself is 32 owners. And if they're rigging it so that only one of those 32 owners gets to win, then to me, it doesn't compute. So I mean, the 32 owners, the 32 teams that are in the NFL, I have a tough time believing that Tampa Bay is like, all right, let the Chiefs win the next 4, but then we're in, I just have a tough time believing that level of conspiracy. But what I do believe is, from a higher up level of, you have your commissioner, Roger Goodell, and his job is basically to kind of listen to all 32 of these owners and kind of make best decisions on behalf of the league. And kind of all these referees that kind of flow underneath. I do believe there is some level of, if Taylor Swift hangs around, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because that's money in our pocket. And so with all 32 owners, the ones who are at the bottom, the Giants, for instance, who are really far at the bottom, I think not having much stake in the game, saying, well, if Swift hangs around for a while and Travis Kelce continues to hang around for a while, and Mahomes and this big following that the Chiefs have, if they all hang around for a while, sure, that's money in our pocket. But again, this idea that there's a conspiracy for one specific organization, and not only that, a small market at that, You think about Kansas City versus like a New York or an LA or a Chicago.
I've thought about that. It's really random that Kansas City is doing so well right now because you usually don't see that. You'll see dynasties from like bigger cities, LA, New York.
Yeah.
But Kansas City, what a rando place for a dynasty.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, as a football fan, I do like Chiefs fans. Chiefs fans are great. Philly fans obviously don't get the best reputation, but Chiefs fans,
no, they don't.
Genuinely, they're pretty good. They're pretty good fans, pretty good fan base, all that. I have issues with your quarterback, but other than that, I can get behind Chiefs fandom.
All right. Well, we're at the point. We're going to get your official prediction. You've already teased it. Can't imagine who you're picking for this game, but I am curious for the score that you're picking the Eagles. And then after you give your official prediction, we'll do a rapid fire round of Yobber questions. So,
okay,
Andrew Zuniga, who is winning Super Bowl LIX?
Let me tee it up this way. I'm comparing this year's Eagles team to the one from 2 years ago. This year's Chiefs team to the one from 2 years ago. This Chiefs team feels almost exactly like the Chiefs team from 2 years ago. You have a couple really big stars, Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, still the best coach in the league. It feels like a copy and paste team. You get what you get. This year's Eagles team might be the best Eagles team I've ever seen in my life. And I mean that genuinely. Compared to the team from 2 years ago that made it to the Super Bowl, running back dramatically better, our defense dramatically better, secondary dramatically better, linebackers dramatically better, offensive line slightly better. And so I look at all these different factors. We're going to crush them. This is going to be a 20-point game. 42-20 Eagles, book it.
42-20. Wow. That is a bold
And if they
prediction.
lose, it's the ref's fault.
They win by 20, though. The refs can't do anything about that, is what you were saying earlier. Okay.
Taylor might run on the field in celebration.
You mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned this stat there, because I've seen this stat and I only get all my information from TikTok or at the gym when I'm seeing the sports channels that are on mute just being played. And so I'm like getting information from the screens.
Two great places to get news.
But I saw this stat that the Chiefs apparently have won the most games ever in a row by only one score. Like they've won all these games in a row that have been super close, and they always win by like one score, like 3 points, 6 points, something like that. And that just shows that they know how to close out a game. Like they always like control the end of the game, and they're able to like close it out, which probably is good coaching or good quarterbacking as well.
Correct. And so I have a theory on that as well, because all year I kept hearing people say like, this Chiefs team isn't good. This Chiefs team isn't good. Here's the reality. With how well coached they are, the Chiefs know when to hold their best stuff close to the chest. And they're not going to break those great plays out against the Carolina Panthers or the Oakland Raiders. Vegas Raiders, excuse me. Like these teams that they're barely beating, that are bad teams, they're beating them so that they can save their better stuff for later. So that's the only bit of trepidation that I have in my 42-20 blowout.
They've got something.
Is that
they've got something.
If this game is close, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's
sure.
exactly what they were doing all year long.
Well, I am cheering for the Eagles, of course. I am from Philly just like you. So I will absolutely be cheering for the Eagles. My prediction is Chiefs 20, Eagles 19.
Wow.
This is my prediction that they're going to just have this another close win, and we'll see what happens. I obviously hope that you're right, but I'm hoping to come visit you again, just like I did 2 years ago.
Come home.
It was funny because I just remember that game went so well. I think the Eagles were winning like after 3 quarters, weren't they? Like going into the fourth quarter. And then it just kind of fell apart. And I remember mentioning this on a previous podcast because I just remember you were like standing up like 6 inches from the TV, like, because that's what you do. And I was just like looking at your wife, making eyes with her as the Eagles were falling apart or as the game was slipping away, and just like making eye contact with her, like, oh no, what do we do? How do we console this person in our living room at the moment? Because it just fell apart. So we'll see if that happens again, if the Eagles are dominant for the thing. But then I don't know. I just have this vision that the Chiefs are going to close it out because they're the champs. So we'll see. I will be pleasantly surprised if the Eagles pull it out.
And I won't be surprised if the Chiefs win. Let me be clear. If they win, like, that will not be surprising at all.
Okay.
That's the 5%.
You're planning on
That's the 5%. And if that 5%
planning
comes
on
true,
a blowout win.
Sure. I'm planning a blowout.
5%, yeah. All right, well, let's go through some rapid fire questions.
Let's hear them.
The Yobbers were so great, Yobbers. You gave us so much good content. Andy, how many tush pushes in this game?
Great question. All of them.
Can you explain what a tush push is?
A tush push. Okay. So in football,
it's exactly like it sounds.
Yes. You have 4 plays to get 10 yards. You start at 1st and 10. That's down number 1, 10 yards to go. More often than not, if you get close to that last yard, you can just kind of lean forward, and there is a rule where somebody can push the backside of one of your players to propel them forward over that line so that you get a new set of downs, and then it's 1st and 10 again. So if it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, meaning 3rd down, 4th down, only a yard to go, you are leaning on the tush push to kind of like propel yourself over. And the Philadelphia Eagles are better at this than any team in the history of the world. So the Eagles run this play better than anybody. They run it often, and they run it extremely effectively. And so since we know we're extremely effective at it, we run it very often. My guess is there will be at least 5 tush pushes in this game, and we will be 5 for 5 on all of them.
Yeah, so you'll probably hear that phrase at least a few times during the game. Yep. Tush push is basically like with 10 dudes pushing each other in the bottom side area.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, they're all climbing on top. So it's like a big doggy pile,
yes,
basically.
It helps when the Eagles have 2 players in Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, and Saquon Barkley, the running back, who both can squat 600 pounds. And that's not an exaggeration. They can literally do that.
Wow.
So,
I squatted at the gym today, 175.
Pretty close.
So I'm close. Wow. 600 pounds? That's insane. Yeah. That is insane. Okay. So tush pushes, look out for those. I was really proud of our community that someone knew what that was. So
yeah,
way to go, Yobbers.
I love it. That's
tush
great.
Push.
That's great.
All right, Andy, who is the most handsome person playing in this game? Handsome or hunky? I already put out my call to, what was his name again? Mac Hollins, but he's not in this game.
Nope.
But he is a former Eagle, apparently. Any particularly handsome fellows we should be keeping our eyes out for? We have Travis Kelce. He's in the mix.
Obviously. Let's see. I think Jalen Hurts is a good-looking man. I really do.
Jalen Hurts, the quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback for the Birds. Let's go to Google. Handsome Philadelphia Eagles.
Handsome Eagles, handsome Chiefs.
I shouldn't be Googling this on my work laptop, but that's fine. Oh, another name that I forgot that we should talk about. On the Eagles, rookie, and this young man is adorable. Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean.
I'm gonna Google him now. I usually don't do this on the podcast.
Okay,
because I don't like the sound of typing keys.
Yeah,
Cooper. Oh my gosh!
Isn't he adorable?
Cooper DeJean.
Isn't he adorable?
Who is he?
So
what is his deal?
He's a cornerback. Now,
is he like 12 years old?
He's a rookie. So he's like 22, 23, something
21.
like that. 21.
21, it says. Wow.
So,
he is so young.
So here is another, we'll call this a talking point. And Tom, if you want to cut this, I understand.
No.
Let's get racial. So
oh my gosh.
The cornerback position, which is the guy who trails the wide receiver on the defense, has been a 100% African-American position for the last 20 years. There has not been a starting Caucasian cornerback in the league for roughly 20 years.
The whole league? I thought you were just talking about the Eagles.
I mean, the whole league, NFL.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so going into this year, everyone was just like, hey, who's going to take Cooper DeJean out of Iowa? And so he was kind of do you take a risk on the white guy kind of draft pick? And the Eagles got him in the second round. And the Eagles defense was doing pretty good. And then they put him in the starting lineup around week 5. And our defense, I'm not kidding, has been like explosive ever since he came in. And so
Cooper DeJean,
yep.
Who would have thought?
Yep.
Yay, white people. I'm glad white people are finally accomplishing some things in life.
Time,
it's
good
good
to
hear. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to cut all that, I understand, but there you go.
No, we'll keep it. Cooper DeJean. Everyone Google him. That's a good Google.
Yeah.
For sure. What a lovely little surprise.
There you go.
My first thought was like, wait, is that like a varsity high school player?
Nope.
Who is that?
Nope.
Who's that boy?
Starting slot corner.
Let's get to some other miscellaneous Super Bowl questions. You know, I told myself leading into this episode that I would do some Kendrick Lamar research. I did not listen to a single word of a Kendrick Lamar song leading up to this podcast, but I did watch the new Timothée Chalamet Bob Dylan movie. So I was hoping Bob Dylan would do this halftime show, because 5 out of 5 stars for a complete unknown for Timothée Chalamet.
Great.
Even Timothée Chalamet sung at SNL. Did you hear that he was the musical guest?
I saw
for
that.
SNL.
I haven't.
And he was amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, he's not like an amazing like Grammy winning voice or anything, but he can hold his own.
Yeah,
I feel
he's super talented.
Timothée Chalamet for the next halftime show.
Maybe.
That would be my vote.
Yeah.
But I know nothing about Kendrick Lamar. Do you know anything about Kendrick? He had a feud with Drake, or something.
So I like Kendrick Lamar. Him and Drake had a big feud a while back. It was like over the summer, and basically when rappers beef, they do diss tracks. And so I forgot who fired the first shot. I felt like there was some third guy that doesn't matter. And so somehow they started beefing, right? And so Drake says something, and so he writes a song about Kendrick. Kendrick, you're dumb, and this is why. And he does the whole song, and then Kendrick comes out, Drake, you're dumb, and this is why. And they do this back and forth. And so I think at some point Drake said something about one of Kendrick Lamar's family members. And then Kendrick Lamar decided to go nuclear on him. And quite literally, the whole rap beef thing itself was really bizarre. He did a song called Meet the Grahams, which Drake's real name is Aubrey Graham. And Kendrick Lamar, one by one, just started naming people from his family,
like eviscerating his family members,
starting with his son.
Wow.
He writes basically each verse is like a letter to one of these family members about how awful Drake is, and it's pretty intense. And so then he continues to write these songs, and eventually Drake was just like, okay, just kidding, I didn't do anything. And then after that, Kendrick's career really kind of it was already great, but like right after that he booked the Super Bowl halftime show, and it was just kind of wild. So yeah, there was a big beef.
So do you
between
think
we'll
be hearing this song in front of 100+ million people?
Sure. That one probably not. You will hear a song.
Probably not. A little risky.
Yeah, that one would be pretty risky. He did his last I guess diss track was a song called Not Like Us. I'm confident we will hear that song. And that was the song that pretty much ended everything. It's pretty catchy. It's also pretty intense. So there you have it.
I'm curious to watch this halftime show and just notice if I recognize any song, because I'm sure I won't. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll recognize one song, but I doubt I will.
Have you seen the movie Black Panther?
I have not.
Okay. So for those of you who have seen the movie Black Panther, he did the whole soundtrack for that movie. And so they've already announced that SZA, who did one of his most famous songs, SZA, SZA, I believe it is.
SZA. Okay. Yeah.
All the Stars is the name of their really big song. And so she's already been announced that she's going to be doing that show or showing up during that show at some point with him. So yeah, that's Kendrick.
One of these days I will know something about one of the halftime performers. I'm not a very musical person, so I'm the worst person to talk about the halftime show because I'm not going to know who it is. Unless it's Timothée Chalamet next year. Let's close the episode with some Super Bowl snack talk Super Bowl food talk, because we had a very, very deep discussion in our Yobbers community about Super Bowl snacks and treats and food. One of our Yobbers really wanted your opinion or wanted your take on this. Like, what are some must-have straight men Super Bowl party snacks? So for the Yobbers in our midst who are bringing snacks or hosting Super Bowl parties for predominantly straight men attending, what would you suggest are some must-haves for said gathering?
Number 1, wings. Above everything else, gotta have wings.
Wings are so messy.
Okay. We have sinks and napkins.
Oh my gosh, wings.
Or,
I cannot with wings.
Give me
Continue.
a break. Give me a break. Okay. Number 2, jalapeno poppers. Cannot go wrong.
What?
Those are delicious.
What are those?
It is a jalapeno cut open, cream cheese in it, wrapped in bacon.
That sounds
These are a few of the
spicy.
most delicious things. As long as you take the seeds out, it's delicious.
Okay. That's number 2.
That's number 2.
Any number 3? Anything else come to mind?
Buffalo chicken dip. Can't go wrong.
Buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah.
For like chips and stuff?
For chips, or you could do veggies. You can do celery. You could do carrots. You can do, any one of those things.
Okay.
And buffalo chicken dip, super easy. You just get canned chicken, shredded. You drain that, cream cheese, Frank's hot sauce, mix it up. That's it. Easy peasy.
Wow.
Maybe throw in some seasoning, some salt, some pepper.
Nice. I was going to suggest, don't forget the celery sticks and the carrot sticks.
Sure.
Get some veggies in there. Gotta get some veggies into your Super Bowl lineup of snacks.
If you only bring vegetables, your straight guy friends are going to think you're the coolest ever.
Broccoli. Yeah, get some broccoli in there. Yeah, that was the good stuff. Good stuff right there. This was so funny. I'll close with this, is that there then became a discussion that formed about charcuterie and about the appropriateness or about the sexuality of charcuterie. And someone was wondering, like, wait, is charcuterie or nice cheese, having nice cheese, gay? Is that a gay thing to do, to have charcuterie or to have nice cheese? And then one of our dear yobbers, love this. I love this so much. He was like, if straight men can't handle nice cheese, I will gladly bear that cross. So I say, absolutely. Bring your nice fancy cheese, bring a nice spread of salami and pepperoni and grapes and other things. I'm all for amazing charcuterie. That's one of the best things in life.
Sure. I'll say this. It's not gay. I don't think it's the straightest thing in the world.
But you would not turn down nice cheese, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Not at all.
But here's the thing.
You're not about to create it, but you will consume it.
I will absolutely consume it. If it's there, if it's present, I'm going to eat it. And that's part of being a straight man, is if it's food and it's in front of me, I'll eat it.
Consume.
Yeah. I am not, and this is me, I am not a just eat cheese guy. If I have
it's not just cheese, it's cheese with like crackers and cheese with.
Right. My wife can just eat cheese and she's good. And every now and then she'll hand me a piece of cheese and I'm like, I'm not interested in just the cheese. I need something with this.
I'm not a mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily that way either. I need something to go with it. Or even if I have like a glass of wine, like I guess that's something to go with the cheese. But still, I would prefer there to be like some kind of crunchy thing or some kind of meaty thing, to go with. Or
like a salty and a sweet and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
And so like if you're there and you already know this cheese pairs really well with this jam or this cracker or whatever your combination is, just kind of have that ready. And when the commercial comes on, which typically is when you guys tune in and when people like me tune out, just be ready. Just be ready to have those conversations.
You know what conversation I'm over at this point is it happens every single year. They're like, the commercials weren't good this year. They say that every single year, as if like, when was the last time the commercials were good? If you're saying that every single year, basically you're just saying the commercials have never been good.
The last time
they were good was when I was 4 years old and I saw this Rugrats commercial or something. I don't know. Like,
correct.
I'm sick of that conversation.
The last time the commercials were good was when you were a child, and it was the last time you had childhood wonder in your eyes. It was also the last time the refs weren't awful. There you have it.
So on that note,
there you go.
This was good, Andy. I feel like the Super Bowl episode of our ConvoCast just deepens every year. The lore of it, like we just go deeper and deeper. We brought in snack food into the discussion this year. So
finally,
I'm excited for this game. I'm excited to hopefully watch it with you. If I can somehow figure out how to get to Chattanooga with the interstate that's fallen into the sea. Like I'm going to try to figure out how to get there.
Come on down. We're ready for you.
Looking forward to it.
Go Birds.
Anyone listening? Go Birds. Anyone listening, go comment my brother's baby's name If you have any ideas, any suggestions, comment your predictions.
5%.
If you're watching this before the game, I'm sorry. And we'll be back on the other side. We'll see who was right.
Okay.
Andy in a blowout or Tom in a championship clinching, dynasty topping prediction as
Feel
well.
free to clip this for whatever episode comes after the Super Bowl. 2 takes. Take number 1. I told you so. Take number 2. Of course the Chiefs won. We all saw this coming.
All right. I'll save that. I'll clip it and post that the day after the Super Bowl. So either way, you'll win.
There you go.
Either way, Andy's correct. All right, brother. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
From your beautiful green room.
Yes.
It's good to have you back.
Juniper.
From the Juniper Room in Chattanooga. Thank you, brother Andy. Y'all, until we cast our next convo, fly Eagles fly.
Go Birds.
What's up, friends? Sporty bros. It's our annual Super Bowl Start that over. I'm rusty.
Start over.
I'm rusty. All right.
Come on. You're a professional.
This will be in the blooper reel. Okay, here we go.
As you can see, I'm in a new room.
I know. I see that.
I'm in the green room. You have not been to this room since it's been painted. This is the upstairs bedroom, and it is now eagle green.
That's nice. It's a nice green. I like that green.
I love it. I love it all.
What's the color? Do you know what the exact color is?
I do.
It's not mint, but
I forgot what it's called.
It's like a muted.
No. Juniper, I think, is what it was called.
Juniper. This is riveting bonus
Juniper
content.
Color.
Yobbers, tell me what you think about Juniper.
Sherwin-Williams. Juniper, that's it.
It's Juniper, everybody. If you put in your votes for Juniper, you win a prize. I was thinking, is it grasshopper? Is it forest green? What is that? But it's very nice. It's like toothpaste, sort of.
What a lovely comparison.